And the real Danielle.
We look alike, don't we? We look like sisters.
Hello. Welcome to the call. She's got her disco party light that we sent her because the party's always going on. Oh, good. I love it. All right. I will take a quick picture because I don't know why I like to do this, but it
Well, it's good because it's a party and we are recording. So welcome to our Monday night.
Welcome, everybody, to the Monday Night Team call.
I like the robe.
Yeah.
I want a robe.
Yes.
Wait, take another picture. I wasn't ready.
Okay, here we go.
Let me make sure my hair is looking good.
Let's give oh yeah, you guys are fancy. Check you out. I love it. All right. So what we're going to do tonight, it's a really special night and team call because for the past, I would say, I think it's been 18 months, Danielle, don't you think?
Yeah.
At least a year. At least a solid year. We have been trying to work together to figure out what is the most effective way to start up a new rep. And this is, I think, like the age-old challenge of every distributor and MD in the company, because I've seen it change so much over the years. And as technology changes, it greatly impacts our business and the way we do things and the way we communicate with people. Also, the tools change over time. So over the past 9 years, I have to say, I've seen so many different kinds of, first we had the 10-1-10, that was the first thing that launched. Then there was bonus money. And then there was, a 5-1 program. There was all these different things that kind of came and went. And so where we are right now in the kind of the hub of time is we've got a lot of opportunity to use social media and communication tools like Voxer and texting and whatnot to communicate quicker with people and get information to them faster than we ever have before. And so we wanted to really include some of that into what we're going to talk about tonight. And we also wanted to streamline it as best as possible. Now, when we go to the mission-driven model, and I'm going to be sharing my screen mostly tonight, so a lot of this is visual, what you're going to get. But basically, what was I going to say about that? I'll show you the checklist that was put together by Julie Herbst. And I reached out to her a week ago and we chatted about this. And so they have a very, it's a great concise, if you didn't have an upline place to go and a checklist to click on and go, do this, do this, do this, do this, and you'd be successful. And then you'd figure out your own way and kind of go from there. And the point of this business obviously is to be duplicatable. However, there's also a flavor, if you would. It's kind of like, that's like the bland version, but then you throw in like the flavors of each of the teams involved with all the, around the country, around the world. And everybody takes that model and then kind of puts their own little sass on it, right? So what we've done is taken that, included some of the steps that we found were most important in the sync and in the process of kind of getting through the startup phase. And we tried to be as concise with wording as possible so that literally any of you guys could take this and run with it. And so as you have a new rep, go through it together and then pull us in as you need us. So the biggest, most important thing tonight is your feedback. Okay. So, nothing is set in stone. It is a collaborative working document all the time. I want to ahead of time thank Danielle for her time and contribution to this. I want to thank, we had Lauren, Buffy, Brianne, and Janice at my house one day, and everybody took a stab at it and kind of gave some input, which was really good feedback, and we changed a couple of things. We also collaborated with Julie Herbst. We asked some information and guidance from Bree Bergford, who is an incredible national marketing director and really poured in some great touches to this as well. And then, and then we put our own spin on it. So I'm going to go through it from here, and I will go to share screen. And if you guys have questions throughout any point, now once I share screen, I can't see you. So please unmute yourself and ask, okay? Don't feel like you're being rude because you're not. All right, so the first thing I want to do is go to my desktop. Yes, share screen. Okay, and then I'm going to click over here.
Look at those cute kids.
Yeah.
I know, isn't that really? I had the Facebook page up because I wanted to do this. Okay, here we go. Here's the page. Dun, da, da, da. It's going to take a quick minute to go. But basically, so the process is going to be these two things. You're going to have this, and then a binder that you can put together with the organizational workbook that we also kind of jimmied a little bit. And again, I got full permission to use all this stuff from people. Where is it? Why is it hiding from me? Sorry, it's already opened. DocX. All right, let's go here.
There you go.
And I want to make this bigger so we can go. And I will show this at, I think, 100%. Okay. Is it better to make it bigger for you guys or smaller?
I'm okay with it like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there we go. This is better. Okay.
Good.
So, so our startup checklist. So here we go. We've got, so getting started. It's broken up into a couple of different segments. So get started, get connected, and get moving. And the first piece of all of this, of course, is that we want to submit the application for the representative and receive the email from the company. So that should be done or could be done prior to the meeting that you sit down with them and go through this, or you can do it together right there. Just understand that if you do it right as you're sitting down, there's a delay of a little bit there. You usually get somewhere between 5 minutes and 30 minutes to get a response with the welcome email. I always like to do it during business hours because if something goes wrong, you can call corporate and get them to send it again. If you do it over the weekend or something and they don't get the email, then there's a way to work around it. But just if you time it right, you're kind of setting them up for success. You just walk right into their virtual office and start right there. Okay. So sometimes I'll have them start, I submit it the night before, and then we have this meeting that next day. So the start date is going to be the day that they put in, it's the day they sign their application, but technically we start measuring from the day that we start their first order. Okay. So let's just say you put them in the system on a Thursday, you meet the following Tuesday, and they put their order in on the Tuesday. That would be their start date. Okay. That's the one that we're going to measure for fast tracks. So their FIN is a franchisee identification number that you'll put right in that next piece right here. And this is just to organize the information so they have one place to go to. Everything's right there in front of you. And when you call distributor support and they ask you for your FIN, you can give it to them because people aren't going to memorize that right off the bat. Okay, so the second step is log into your virtual office and bookmark the site. So we want to make sure that that's a favorite. That's something that they'll access on a regular basis, as you know. We want to get them familiar with it, but you don't want to spend too much time. Really what you want to show them how to do is to place their first order. And then set up these websites. So in that order, I would go straight to personal profile, show them the websites. If they have some questions or thought process and they want to take some time and think about, whatever the decal to put on there, that marquee is the word I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. They can do that all on their own time, but just that you kind of walk them through. And the quick links, just that you guys all know this, but the quick links is where I take everybody first and I tell them, if you forget everything, you can go here, and everything that I said, you'll go right here. And this is probably going to answer your question and take you to where you want to go. Now, so the next thing is submit their customer order and move any existing orders to you. So it's like we're talking to the person that's signing up, right? We would want to do that day. That's why, again, it's helpful to have this meeting during business hours so that you can call in and move those things if they are an existing customer. The third piece, okay, so get familiar with your personal juiceplus.com website, and that's something we want to assign them to do it on their own. We'll take them there so they can click on it, and then we'll leave them to go look at it later. These are the kinds of things that you really want to empower your reps to be curious about. It's important that they get a chance to go through the self-discovery and have the aha moments and go, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. You can guide them to a couple key points or things maybe that you like or stand out to you. But for the most part, you don't want to waste your time on that. You want to really empower them to do that. And you want to take them to the things and kind of fit in as much as you can through this first meeting. So the next part, number 4, with your sponsor, explore mission-driven-model.info. That is probably one of the most key components to the startup process, because when they go there, you want to take them through, actually, I'll do it right now as if I was taking you guys there. Oh, you know what? I can no, I can't. That's a PDF. Hold on. Let's see if I can go quickly. Well, we did this last week. You know what, you guys, I won't even waste your time on this. Sorry. Okay. But mission-driven model, the section where we went through the videos And we went through this, like that. I think that's probably the most important piece right now, to get first new one-time reps there, because they can go there and learn. And again, that's something you want to guide them to, but like you want them to go in and start clicking on the buttons and watching those videos on their own time so that they can get that nourishment. And through that process, just explain to them, hey, if you invested like 10 minutes, or I would say 30 minutes a day, for the first 10 days, they'll get a lot of information. And as they watch things, have them jot down the names of people that it reminds them of, right? Or even better yet, they could send, text them and send them something right there. Okay, so number 5, so browse. So on this one, you want to browse through the Juice Plus promotions. Again, just show them where to go and then leave that there and say, you can spend some money here, or I would encourage you to earn yourself a bonus and then go back and order some stuff. The mistake that I made as a new rep is I spent about $350 at the Promo Plus site. And I got, like, at conference, I remember coming home with all these huge bags of stuff. And I always tell the story because, the money that you're going to spend in the first 60 days is better spent investing in your business, investing in product to have. Borrow the other stuff from all the people around you, but, grab, like, it's most important to build those points into your system and start you moving forward through the promotion process. So that's the first piece. Then take them through some questioning. So number 6, so why did you say yes to joining the business? The best skill we can learn in this business as a leader is to be able to ask somebody a question and then listen. And if you ask this question of people, particularly ones that are signing up for the first time, they're going to do 2 things in here. First, they're going to feel like, wow, they're taking the time to like really ask me that, and you may think that you know the answer to this, but to get them to tell you the answer, it really reaffirms why they're joining. And it's really important. Okay. So make sure to include that there. That's why I put it there with a line, because it would be really nice for you then to either for them to write it down or for you to write it down. Just take note of it and really be active in your listening. Number 7. So what attracted you to our team? I ask it in that way because it's going to be different things for different people. Some people look at us and go, they're having so much fun, I want a piece of it. There's other people that go, well, I didn't really even think of it as like a team, I was just, and that gives you an opportunity to really work on that piece with them. Like whatever that is, that word team is different than business. Okay. They're 2 different things. And people have a choice, they can join with anybody. They can go to different reps. And sometimes, especially here in Southern California, they know lots of different people that are reps. So they have a choice in the matter. So I just think it's important, to reiterate again, why they're choosing us and thank them for that. Right. Number 8. So what are you hoping to accomplish with your business? Again, this is going to be different for everybody. A lot of people may say, I don't really know. And you could say something like, well, let's think about that for a little bit. Like what could you do? And that kind of leads you into the next question. You've heard me say this a lot on 3-way calls, but what amount of money would positively impact your financial situation right now? Not 6 months from now, not a year from now. You'll hear people talk a lot in futuristic terms, especially when they're starting something like this. They'll say things like, well, eventually I'd like, right? And that's all great and fine and dandy. But right now, what amount of money would positively impact your financial situation? Getting them to think about the now, getting them to pull their thoughts into the present. On an ongoing basis, what amount of money would, if you went to the mailbox, and I say it this way because I want them to start thinking of this, that the money is going to continue to come, right? This is a residual business if we build it into a qualified business. And it's important for them to see that and to start to actually think like that. So if you went to the mailbox each month and opened a check from Juice Plus or from the Juice Plus company, what amount would put a huge smile on your face? What amount would make you feel proud of the work, right? Somebody boxing me. Did I lose you guys? No. Okay. And what amount, okay, and would inspire you to want to share with more people, right? And there's no wrong answer, because truly, like for one person, $200 might just be like, I don't know, the best thing that ever happened to them, like given where they are in life. Like you just don't know, right? Other people, like I have a gal on our team who's, she's inactive, but I'll tell you what, for like 4 years, her Juice Plus paycheck paid for her car payment. And she was so thrilled about that. She went out and bought herself a nice fancy car and was so grateful. And she's like, I love this paycheck. It comes in every month. And I'm so grateful for that. So everybody's a little bit different, but it's important that we figure out what it means to them. Okay. And I do encourage you guys, I'm going to post this up tonight right after the call. I really encourage you guys to print this out and to get with your sponsor and let's go through it now. Like, let's get through it. Let's go and see where you are now. Let's almost restart all of us and go through the process. Cause I really like to do that. When I relaunched my business, I did my 2000 plus, I wasn't going to ask anybody else to do something I wasn't willing to do. And it's kind of nice to go through the motions. All right. So number 10, when working with a project, this is an important piece. And we inserted this. This is not anywhere in the Juice Plus literature, but we wanted to understand with people. We never want to put any pressure on anyone. And people have, excuse me, Gabby, you need to leave now. We have with, people have different pace, in life. And you hear me use that word a lot, like find somebody that can pace well with you, right? So if your goals are to go fast and steady and you want to stay at that, then you're looking for like a marathon runner, right? If you're somebody that likes to take little sprints and then take a break, then you're looking for, someone like that. Or maybe you're looking to fill in the gaps and balance your team out with, lots of different types of people. But I like to know from people, and I do ask this question a lot, is, to try to understand, when working on a project, which feels most comfortable to you. They'll tell you right here in their answers. So slow, I tend to like to ease into things. I'm comfortable at taking my time. Medium, I like to test the waters. Maybe, when I feel good about it, I'll jump in. And then fast. So when I say yes to something, I'm committed and I work quickly. And then super fast, because there's those people too, right? It may take me a while to make a decision, but when I do, I want results yesterday. So those people, I often ask, like, those people will say, how quickly can I get there? And they usually ask it in this way. They usually say things like, okay, so how quickly can I get to NMD? Is that realistic to do in a year? They will ask you questions like that. So just knowing who you are and who you're playing with, and then let's just give you a scenario. Let's just say that your speed is more of like a medium, right? You personally, and then you bring on somebody that's super fast. Well, there's a potential for conflict there. So it's important that you pull in some upline support and that we partner these people with other people that pace well, because it can be a total turnoff to somebody and vice versa. Let's say that, you're like me, I'm kind of a super fast to super fast kind of a person. If I grab in somebody and I pull them in and they like to work slow, well, guess what? Like, I might be really abrasive to that person because the expectation from them might look like I'm expecting them to do what I do. Of course, that's not the case, but it's important to identify these things so that we can create some harmony, in the entry process. We never want people to come in and feel uncomfortable. We want to set them up for true success. So do we have any questions around that section?
No.
Good. Okay. Does it seem helpful so far? Good so far?
Yeah.
We have a little visitor. Okay. Okay. So getting connected. This is the next section. So the first, obviously, Voxer is the first primary communication tool that we use to connect with our team. So right then and there, you'll sit down with them and download the app to their phone and practice messaging with their sponsor. I just did this with Heidi yesterday or the other day. And then set up the Voxer preferences. So I automatically go in there and I turn off the things for them that I know, like the beeps and the turn, I take the volume and I turn it way down, and some of the notifications. And those I think are important. And now we found out today that Julie Herbst, because she's amazing, has put up a tutorial on the mission-driven model about Voxer and how to use it. And so that would be a great place to send people if they have, if they're curious about that. I'm the kind of person that I kind of sign up for something and figure my way through it, but not everybody's that way. Some people want to get it set up first before they start using it, and you might want to guide them to that piece on the mission-driven model .info. All right, so number 2 is the Facebook page. Ours is called JP Honeybees, obviously. We want to get them familiar with that, and then once they go so have them log into Facebook, go there, we add them so they can see what it is. And I just usually glance down and show them from my phone. This is the kind of stuff we post. This is what we do with the hearts. You want to click on this and save that to your phone. So when you put up your orders, you can add a heart or add the mom and child with the heart, because I love that little image as well for a CHS, and just get them really feeling involved and knowing what to do, right? So that takes all of like a minute or two. Then the customer Facebook page, same thing with the buzz. We take them over there, show them what it's all about, encourage them to add some of, maybe they've already done their HLP and you're sitting down to do this, so they want to add their first 2 customers so that they can get comfortable with it. And then when these are saved as favorites and flagged on the side, then it's easy to access, and then we know that they're going to see all the posts that come through. So it's important that they do that. It's hard when, reps are not paying attention, and then this is not a priority, then they lose all communication. So that's something we want to try to avoid. All right, so download the Zoom app. So this is the next piece of technology that we need to help them with. And this is important, obviously, for our Monday night calls. And also for, we really want to do this for 3-way calls. And I do want to start platforming the welcome calls with Zoom. So I put that right here below, but the next step is meet your national marketing director. So right then and there, the sponsor can text me, box me, whatever, and say, hey, I'm in a startup meeting with Sarah, and Sarah and I are working together. We've got a couple of times that we'd love to connect, with you. Does this work? And just right there, illustrate for this new person how we communicate and how easy it is and how responsive we are, because I usually get back pretty quick. So then we fill in that date and time for the Zoom call. So they have it right there scheduled. We want to show that it's a priority. We don't just want to talk about it. We want to make that happen. And we know that the more of those that happen, the more like welcome calls that we do in the first week of starting the business, the further people move along and the faster they get there. And really the longer they stay. So these are really important. They may seem tedious, and of course they'll get to know me at some point, but it's nice for me to be able to ask questions of them, understand what they're hoping to accomplish, and it shows leadership on your part that you're introducing them to somebody that's at the top level of the company. So it works all the way around. So I put my information right there so that you can either text or box, and that they feel like they have access to somebody, at the top level immediately from starting. Now, and then obviously, like as Danielle hits NMD, then we'll change her information for your team, for the New York team. And then as we promote it more NMDs on my side of things, then we will do that as well. Okay, so add these to your contacts: customer support and business support, and just explain what they are. It's important to illustrate. I used to take, and if you have the time in the startup meeting, you could do this, but I used to take people through this process and actually call into distributor support and introduce them. And I would say something like, hey, Terry, it's Melissa Falco, out in Southern Cal. How are you today? I just wanted to, I've got a new rep on the phone. I wanted to introduce her to you guys. And could you maybe, share a couple words about how people best utilize you guys and what support you offer? And they are always so flattered when we do that. And it really gives them a chance to kind of show off a little bit of like, well, yeah, we do a lot of things, and it's just nice. It just creates a nice little bridge between corporate and this new rep, because I find that if they don't get that introduction, they're less likely to call when they do have questions or if they do need help. So just another good practice to get involved in. Now, these questions, we inserted them here, and they are in bigger letters because they're really important. And basically, this is from Bree Bergford, and we've changed the verbiage just a tiny bit. But we really loved when she was sharing, some of this with us, that her perspective is you really need to get commitment before you get action, from people. And so it's important that we really hit on the trust piece right off the bat. People have got to trust us. They've got to know that this is a paint by numbers kind of business. If they do the work, they're going to get the result. And if they trust us, they'll get there faster, right? Because we're going to guide them with the skills and the appropriate tools to really be effective. So as we go down this road together, will you trust me? They're looking at the words, but I encourage you to read them out loud, okay? And get them to say yes. And then the next one is, will you trust the process? And again, you're practicing your listening skills, and let them tell you yes. And then will you be teachable? And when they give you those 3, I would even put a check mark, okay, next to those 3 things, because then if a situation arises down the way, you can say, well, you did tell me you would be, coachable. You did tell me that you would trust in the process, and you did say you would trust me. Like, are we still there? Are we still okay with that? It's important, I think, and it really gets them to take it seriously. That's enough there. Okay, so next page. So now we're moving into action. Once we get their buy-in and their commitment, then the next thing we do is we go into the process that we have in place, which is, and this is again why we had to customize a little bit, but I have to tell you guys, I just came off a co-op meeting and there are 3 other teams now that are duplicating, 3 other big teams duplicating our 1225 process. They love it. Everybody loves it. It's easy. It's simple. It's working. It's kind of spreading now through the company like wildfire. So congratulations to you guys because we did this together. But it's awesome. And it's just, we want to streamline and keep things as simple as possible. So this is right then and there. They already have their first order in. They would then take out the 1225 sheet and we go over it together. Okay. So we take that sheet with the sponsor and they start filling it out. The first thing we do is we take their first order, put it in the top, and we draw the line at 12, which I think now we have already drawn in there. And then we kind of work with them to fill in, it's usually about 10 orders from there. But the way that we fill out those orders, right, is by planning 2 events. So we put in the fill out the memory jogger piece right here for a reason. And the memory jogger is in the startup organizational binder. It's in there. So if you're organized to this meeting, you should have that printed out already in a binder ready set up for them. They're going to, or just by itself, just the group of papers, and they will take that. You can go right to the memory jogger and start filling out, okay, so let's talk about who, and there's that great sheet in there that we have that says who do we talk to? So we should be able to fill that out, have at least 20 names to work with, and have them tell you a little bit about each person. And then right after that, you're going to take your events. You're going to plan 2 events of your own. This is number 3 with your sponsor, and then in the first 3 weeks. Now, if you're not local to your sponsor, right, these can be via Zoom. You can do them via Facebook, or if you are local to somebody, I always really pour in a lot of time and invest in my local people because I just think that third party, like the 3D like experience is just always so powerful. So planning the 2 dates, first date and time, second date and time. Number 4, we go right into that. So now you have your 2 first events. We want to try to set that up in the first 3 weeks, and we do that on purpose, okay? Because in the first 3 weeks, they can, here, Gabby, sit down here for me. That gives them 1 extra week, okay, for the rest of the month to close everything out. So let's say they have their first 2 events, they get 5 orders the first one and maybe 2 on the second. So now they have 7 orders, but they need, and they have 2 of their own, so that's 9. So they really need 3 more. It still gives you another week to plan something or to get that done. It's really ensuring if you follow these steps that they're going to get the 2,000 plus completed in 30 days. And that's what we want for everybody. We want to really set them up for success. Every single person on this team that's done it that way has qualified their business the next month. So if we're talking about building qualifiers and building stable, lasting businesses, this is a really key component to that. So number 4, identify upcoming Juice Plus events in your area. These could be, healthy living speakers, medical speakers, VF workshops. And on this one we have, so event type. So for instance, if there's like Dr. Tamara Sachs in New York, or Dr. Du Bois is coming out here, or Stacy Joy. Gabby, not interrupting. Okay, go get your daddy right now, please. And then fill in the conference dates right there too, because you want to get them thinking conference like immediately off the bat, especially because they're going to win a free ticket. So it's really important that we get that, on their calendar and set and ready to go. So it should, between this, you guys take a look, you've got 4 major events likely that they can plug into in the next, however, many days. So you're really setting them up for good success. And then this is my best part right here. Number 5, this is a Honeybee stamp on this, but with your sponsor, make 5 invitation calls and or texts for upcoming events. So right there, we're going to teach them how to invite. There's nothing more discouraging to a new rep when they invite and they fall on their face and they feel like they can't get anybody to go anywhere, and and they really struggle with that. That's a really tough thing to recover from. So my encouragement to you is that if we do this, if you feel shaky in this area, work with us as your leadership team to strengthen that skill for yourself, and then let's pass it down to these new reps so they come in off the bat feeling like, wow, we made 5 calls and we got 4 commitments, to come to the next things. This is exciting, and then they're empowered, right, by that. So that by that process. I've also learned, and this is another piece of why we're doing this, but I've also learned that typically the first 5 people that sign up for your business or sign up for your as customers end up being on your team. And so if we can have an involvement in inviting those first 5 key people, right, then we're setting the stage and really planting seeds and experience with them of what it really looks like. We're doing it the right way from the get-go. So your duplication factor kind of tightens up moving forward. Okay. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Okay. So number 6, start using Voxer to communicate with your mentors. And that's going to be an ongoing process, but we want to, that's definitely something that's in the process of activity. So in a lot of cases, what we do is set up like a 3-way chat on a Voxer that we can, do some initial welcoming and that kind of stuff, or we get in there. But, again, just reiterating how important this piece is, because we don't want people just to come on and listen. We want people to come in and participate. It's really, really, it gets kind of like hard for us as leaders. So we're like, I say to Danielle, hey, will you post that? Because I'm so sick of seeing my name up there. I mean, we laugh at ourselves, because it's really about you guys. It's about a collaborative tool, and that's what it's, designed for. So we want to get people doing that early on. And then number 7, complete your HLP in your first 72 hours. So you really should be able to start that or complete that right there sitting together if, you have enough focus time. Sometimes it's crazy. Like, Heidi and I, we have 2 crazy busy kids, and she's pregnant, and we were at her house, and our kids are playing and jumping and interrupting and eating and doing all sorts of stuff. So we did the best that we could. But in an ideal situation, if it's just the 2 of you at a coffee shop or at your house or their house, you really should be able to get through this stuff and walk away with a promotion on your first day. How cool would that be? Okay. All right. So number 8, post on social media and start sharing your story. This is a really important piece. And I have to add in here, Danielle, what we talked about earlier. But we need to help them do this. Okay. So this needs to be done with a sponsor. You really want to help them craft the language for success. This is a new tool for a lot of people. There's a lot of people who really just don't know what to say, and they don't know how, but we know that there's kind of a system to it, right? So what I'm encouraging us to do as a team is for the new person to, craft a post with you and thank you. Okay, so this would look something like this. I sign up Danielle. She comes in, and she and I sit down together. We get through this, whole process, and we're pretty excited. And so this is taking them into action, right? And starting them off. Right then and there, we open up her Facebook, and she tags a picture of the 2 of us and says, thank you so much, Melissa. I'm so excited about this new journey. Like, we're going to have so much fun together. Like, take healthy back. Something simple, right? Something like that. Paul, please. Okay, keep going. So on this, do you see how you guys, that could really create some intrigue and some excitement? And then the people that both know you are going to go, oh, she's doing that too. And so it kind of sets you up. And then because the sponsor is tagged, he or she can comment too on there and really help that post and say things like over the next day or so, hey, Kelly or whoever, take a look at this person, because what they wrote, that would maybe we should PM her on the side and ask her some questions. It sounds like she might have some, some interest, right? But we can see things sooner than they will. And so it just really helps get things off the bat correctly. All right, Danielle, did you want to add anything about that piece?
Unmute. No, I think you covered it. I do. I think it's important to do it with your sponsor and sort of help with the language, because there's some things that work better than other things on social media. And we've kind of learned our way through that through the years now. So
yeah.
And there's, take like your pride out of it. Just, it's kind of like new for a lot of us navigating through the social media thing.
Totally. And I've learned so much from you guys. I mean, I watch like some of the stuff that like Rena will put up, or it's a language, it's like learning a new language, this whole social media thing. And it's always evolving too. So yeah, true.
We're doing it together.
But it's nice too, because as you sit there, you can even show people, hey, look at this, person's post, or this was a really good post, or, illustrate it right there. And on the mission-driven model, they do have examples. Mm-hmm. So, if you were doing this over the phone with them, they could do it from there too as well and see. So that way you're looking at the same thing, which is always helpful. But okay, so the next question here is really important. So how much time are you willing to invest each week into your business? This is going to be different for everybody. You know, some people are like, look, I'm gung ho, like I'll give you 10 hours, or some people aren't working and they're like, okay, I'll give it as much as I have to or need to or want to, you know? And so get a number right there and fill that in, because what's important about that is then you're going to take that number and on the next space, you're going to fill it in the DMO sheet with your sponsor. And if you know that they have 5 hours, you're going to guide them to high producing activities, okay? Because they only have 5 hours to get, or maybe like that's actually kind of a lot of time. But you know, when you think about an hour a day, right, for 5 days a week. So what that might look like is, all right, so maybe on Sunday nights, you're going to plan for about, 20 minutes and get your week kind of ready, started. And then on, Monday night, we have our 30-minute team call. So make sure you invest into that. And then maybe right after that, we get together and do like a little tech splits, just the two of us, right, to get things going. Whatever it is, you're going to get into high activities. The biggest thing basically at the startup phase is just asking a lot of questions, starting conversation, generating curiosity and interest, and getting them on the phone with us, right? And we didn't really talk about three-way calls in this process, but I think that's just a tool set that we need to talk, to introduce them to through the process. So with your sponsor, the next piece is filling out and designing your team's sheet. And this is, again, something that I've shied away from the years, but I'm telling you, I'm learning a lot. Christine Averill really spent a lot of time with us in this one, and she showed us why it's so important. And so it's a piece that's included in our startup packet and the organizational binder. And I would really encourage you guys to use it yourself, start through it yourself. The questions alone that are on the sheet will prompt you to fill it in correctly. So even if we weren't there, you could do it, but it is important to really kind of guide them in the right direction. I always say to people, really being encouraged to invite great people. Think about it. This is your first chance to really create a working environment that you get to design. So who's really fun? Who's hardworking? Who keeps you upbeat? Who keeps you on task? There's some people, I've got great friends and some of them are really distracting, like they're the ones that when you really don't want to do much, you're like, I'm going to call them so we can go blow off some steam and have a glass of wine or whatever, but then there's my other ones who are super focus driven, and I know when it comes to work stuff, they're fun, but they also know how to get it done. And that's the kind of energy I want to create around my work environment, right? So think about those things. Who else do you know too? So you can there's a lot of teaching in that one sheet opportunity. Then on your own, spend some time filling out the why sheet and send it to your sponsor in a copy. I said that because it would take a lot of time to do it with you in that first meeting. I think that's something they should take home and really think about. And then on maybe the second meeting, go over it again. So they've already kind of identified what their why is, but taking it a step further and really going through, this particular sheet is a good one, and something you should have in their binder and you should know a little bit about too. All right. So lastly, how do you like to celebrate? I think this is important, and it's different for everybody. So, Catherine Lee talks a lot about giving rewards for hitting goals. And so something to me might be something completely different to you. For me, gosh, I've never taken my bonus money and bought myself stuff with it. It's kind of boring, I guess, but I've always used it as an incentive or an excitement to pay forward into my business. So I've always used that, but on achieving something, I do think it's really important to celebrate. And so I've always done that either with friends or for a party or some kind of, things to that nature, something social, because for me, that's putting the bookend on that experience. And then it allows me to open the door for the next goal. So when we reach milestones, it's important to celebrate each step. And then we sit down and reset the goal and make a plan to do it again. And I put this in there intentionally because we have a lot of people on our team that hit built to a qualified business. They skyrocketed too. And a lot of these people are even sales coordinators, right? But then we failed as leaders. I failed. And I want to take responsibility for this at really resetting the next goal. And I think there's a lot of you out there that have gotten to a qualified business. And then we kind of just dropped, it was okay, now what? And then we worked really hard, and it was kind of we took a little time off. And I just, as your leader, really want to take responsibility for this piece, that it was my job as I see it. Maybe, I don't know, people would argue with that, but I see it like this, that I really should have helped you refocus to the next place. And in some cases we tried, but in a lot of cases we didn't. And so I think that we need to make this a business practice. And when people know that that's the process of, getting moving and building a business is get there, celebrate, redo it again, pick a new one, then I think that's going to help us really build further next round, And then right below here, you're going to see just the compensation plan. And we went back and forth on whether we should include this or not. But honestly, I think it's really important to see it. It's also included in the organizational binder, but having it right here on these first 2 pages, it's right in your, it's in your mindset, it's in your thoughts, are right there. It's really hard to ignore the fact that in the upper left-hand corner under 39 Club, you could be making $120,000 a year. And on the right-hand side, you could be getting health and dental and vision and disability and tuition and reimbursement and holiday bonus. The holiday bonus has got here today. I mean, $1,000 check in the mail. It's a pretty nice thank you for the end of the year. So, there's a lot to be gained. It's all about creating vision for people and really creating a roadmap, showing them that it's just a checklist of simple activities and that you're doing it all alongside a support and a friend, to get to wherever you want to go. And I would leave them with that and just say, okay, so now we've been through the process. You kind of get a feel for what the work is like. Let's pick a spot. Let's go back to that number that they wrote down, right? And see, where is it that you want to land? Like, what's the first goal? And for most people, honestly, I would say probably about 80% of people, it's about $500 a month. And that's right about sales coordinators. So we say, okay, great. And if you talk to Karen Jones or any of the other, really awesome leaders that we've got, they'll tell you that should be the first stop for everybody, is just go straight to sales coordinator. Don't even stop. Don't blink. Don't, pay your 200, right? Is that the Monopoly terms? Just get there. And then you take a break and go, okay, let's look around. What do we do next? Right. And that's kind of the reset button. So we really want to help everybody get to that space. And I am really, truly committed in the next, 2017, in the first 6 months of 2017 to promote more sales coordinators than we ever have before. And I'm going to come up with a number just to hold myself accountable. But I really think that together, you guys, we can do anything. And it's just about having the systems in place. So, all right. So with that, questions, feedback, I want to hear from you guys. Is this helpful? What does it feel like going through it once and seeing it on the other side?
Very helpful. I'm the type of person that has to have a checklist.
Okay.
Yeah, I think many of us are probably.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to have something that you can visually see and sit down with someone face to face and literally go through it step by step.
Yeah, and you're not like forgetting, saying, oh, I forgot to do that. Like it's all right there.
Yeah, I think it's good that it's in one spot, because I have so many different pieces of paper that I've been meaning to put in a binder, and they're not in a binder at this time of the year.
Right.
They're next to the binder, but it's all, I think it's very good and motivating.
Do you tell your new people to get GoPro?
That's a really good point. No, I don't.
Oh.
I don't know if that's a mistake or not. It's kind of like, here's another, controversial decision that we made, and a real decision here. Some teams don't sign up a rep until they get their HLP done. And meaning like, they're like, okay, when you bring me 2 customers, I'll sign you up on my team. And these are really successful people that I admire and respect a lot. I mean, I spent a good amount of time with Jamie Kenzie and Brandy Foss and talked about this. And here's why I chose not to do this. If somebody had said to me that, I never would have signed up for the business. And look at me. I just would have been so put off, because for me, it wasn't my why. It didn't match up with my why. It does match up with achievement. And I get that. I get where they're going with it. So that's why I said I encourage people to do it in the first 72 hours, right? But I would never hold anybody back from trying something out. Because I think there's a lot of us on the phone that have done that, who dabbled for many years and then went, you know what? It's time now for me. My timing is right. So, so the GoPro thing, it's not that I'm against it in any way. I just think in the beginning, there's so much to learn that if somebody has to go through that book and feel like they have to get the tutelage from that book to move forward, they may not do it. They might be overwhelmed. However, I might say something like, there's a lot of reading materials out there and there's a lot of tools. And this is one of a really good one that a lot of us use in the industry. I encourage you to, at some point, get your hands on it, Yes, I could do that. But Eric Worre is teaching network marketing and we're teaching Juice Plus. I'd rather them learn Juice Plus first and then learn a little bit more about that. But that's my own personal, and Danielle, you might disagree with me. I don't know.
I do agree with you. And I think, I'm not muted, right? Oh, okay. I think like once you hit like the VF or you've qualified your business, like I think that's a good space to maybe introduce GoPro. Cause I agree. I think it's a little bit hot for most people, maybe not for everybody, but for most of us that when we started out this business, same thing, like we're really focused on just like, let's get our family started. Let's just get our neighbors, our close friends, and like kind of get our footing and fit this into my life. And now, now I've reached VF and now it feels kind of good. And I feel like when you hit VF too, you kind of start to make those decisions like, how much faster do I want to go? How much more do I want, I'm going to go for sales coordinator. I'm going to take a step back, whatever it might be. And so that's like a good space to kind of introduce some of those other tools.
Yeah. And if there's somebody that says to you, that fast person, right? Like, hey, I want to go fast. I want to do this. Hey, here's a great tool to help you do that. Right. I mean, that's a lot about numbers and a lot about all the other stuff. So again, matching them to the tools that are going to help them succeed. So much about, and the other thing too, you guys, is that, and I'll just be really honest here, when I first signed up for the business, I was in denial that this was network marketing. I didn't want to be a part of that. I didn't want to be associated with that. I had a lot of stigmas attached. I had a lot of New Yorker friends that I thought would make fun of me. That's the truth. Like, but here we are. Right. And so now, it makes a lot of sense to me to like practice those kinds of skills. So I think it's about knowing your audience too. But certainly not something we would ever shy away with or tell them not to do, because it's a great tool. There's timing for all of this stuff. I would rather them invest money in Juice Plus events than Eric Worre events, Okay. Any other questions, or what do you guys think? Buffy, what do you think? Hey, Addie.
Say hi. Well, first, I'm loving the disco ball. Oh, that is awesome.
So great.
I think it's definitely knowing your audience, like you said. For me personally, the GoPro book has been extremely helpful because of the mistakes that some people make ahead of time or getting in the beginning of their business. For me personally, being so excited and passionate, I throw up on people. I say way too much. I give way too many details. And, what is the whole thing? Keep it simple. That's what you guys always talk about. Just keep it simple. And other coaches and mentors that we have learned from is, I say too much, just kind of like right now. Too much, too many words. It's like, just keep it simple.
But what about the startup? What about the process that we went through tonight? Does that feel comfortable to you? Because you were part of the editing team there, and I wanted to just make sure that.
I am extremely appreciative of that startup process, just having that step. No, I think it's extremely helpful.
Okay, good. All right.
Because it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
When you have it black and white right there, it makes it very easy.
Well, and if you had the other thing too to keep in mind, you guys, is if you had like, I don't know, an hour and like some things took a little bit more than others, at least you had something where you could stop and go, okay, let's pick up with the rest of this over the phone or whatever, you know what I mean? And it keeps you on track too. I think that's another good, because a lot of times there's so much going on, especially if you got into a situation where you're starting up 3 or 4 reps in a month. You're like, wait, who's where did I leave off with this person and all that kind of stuff, right? So this is really helpful. But okay, good. Well, if there aren't any other questions, I thank you guys for staying on late. I apologize it took so long, but there was a lot of meat to cover. And with that, I think we can end the recording.
We will end the recording. Good night.